Welcome to 1000 PS, welcome to Austria. What we thought we'd do is something a little bit different. We thought we'd throw the British Trident 800 against the Austrian-made KTM 990 Duke. Kind of like English versus Austria by an Englishman in Austria. I kind of hope that makes sense. But it's a perfect excuse to ride both bikes on some amazing roads in this beautiful backdrop. I've ridden the Trident 800 on the launch and I rode the KTM Duke 990 on the launch. So I've previously ridden both bikes in isolation, but never ridden both bikes directly against each other, which has proved an interesting task here in Austria. In terms of some specs and figures, the Trident 800 is 113 horsepower and 62 foot-pounds of torque, and in the UK is coming in at just over 9,000 pounds. It's essentially the Trident 600, but with the 789 triple engine in that you find in the Tiger 800. 3 rider modes, 41mm shower suspension. We've got compression and rebound and preload and rebound on the rear. We've got the Triumph branded calipers, which we've seen before on other Triumph models. The KTM is a little bit more expensive. So that's actually 10,990. It's got the familiar 940 parallel twin. In terms of peak power and peak torque, we're at 121 horsepower and 76 foot-pounds of torque. So it's got more power, it's got more torque, and it's a little bit lighter with fully adjustable WP suspension front and rear. In terms of rider aids, both bikes have got a 6-axis IMU, both bikes have got core-in ABS and traction control and multiple rider modes, and these rider modes we can turn off, deactivate and do what we want with. The KTM for me is a little bit simpler, a little bit easier, a little bit more intuitive. The dash isn't the touchscreen dash that we see on the 990R, it's a straightforward, simple dash that we've seen on other KTM models. But it's very simple and easy to use, everything's all in graphics, so it's easily illustrated. The guys here at 1000 PS failed to put the clocks into English, but even without so, I can still turn off the traction, turn off the slide control, change the rider modes. It's all pretty simple and intuitive. The Triumph clocks are just starting to show their age a little bit, so is the switchgear a little bit. It's just not as modern as the KTM. In terms of handling and performance, the KTM feels more toy-like, more enjoyable, a little bit more fun, a little bit more supermoto, as you'd kind of expect from KTM. This morning we had a really good fun ride. I turned off the slide control, turned off the wheelie control, turned off the rear ABS, had loads of fun on the KTM, whereas the Triumph is still great fun, still sounds good, brilliant fueling, easy to ride, really good feedback through the shower suspension. But it's just a little bit more grown up, a little bit more civilized, arguably a little easier to ride and not as radical as the KTM. The Triumph is a bit of a surprise though, because despite its kind of grown up nature and its mature stance and mature styling, it's still rewarding, it's still fun, and when you make it scream, that 3-cylinder sounds intoxicating, especially when you're flying up these valleys here in Austria and it's reverberating off the side of the mountains. In terms of kind of lap times, if we wanted to do that, I think the KTM would be a winner. If we took both bikes to a track and we set the stopwatch and we tweak the suspension, I think the KTM would come out on top and it would be the faster bike with its superior power, handling, lightness and torque. On the road, it becomes a little bit closer because on the road, in the real world, where we ride both bikes, it's much closer. And in many ways, the Triumph is more rewarding because of that soundtrack and easier to ride. I think for new riders, coming from like an A2 47 horsepower bike and jumping up, the Triumph is a little bit more forgiving and a little easier to ride and more user-friendly. But then that new generation of riders that are used to a tablet lifestyle are going to be more accustomed to the switchgear and clocks on the KTM. It's a real difficult one to split the two bikes, and it might just come down to price, because the KTM is near 11,000 and the Trident 800 is 9,000, or there nearest, damn it. For me, if it was my choice and if it was my money, I think I'd opt for the Triumph. It's enjoyable, it's fun, it sounds great, it looks great, it's just over £9,000. Yeah, the clocks are getting a little bit dated. Yes, it's not got the track day appeal of the KTM, but how many track days are you going to do on your kind of naked, everyday bike? If you're never going to go on track and you're going to use it as a weekend toy, occasionally commute and pop into the city, then for me it would be the Triumph. But if I just wanted a fun afternoon here in the Austrian hills, it's currently 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we've got 2 hours left of just having a giggle, then I would choose the KTM. But for me, you can't argue with the price of the Triumph at just over £9,000. As Triumph dealers up and down the country are going to be saying, that's a lot of bike for not a lot of money. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to know any more really intrinsic technical details like seat height and overall weight, then please fire some questions below. I hope you've agreed with my comments and verdict, but for me, it could be slightly biased, but the Englishman in Austria is going to choose the English bike over the Austrian one.